dominate. Kidd out fast. Here finding Kenyon Martin for the alley-oop slam. And here Kidd spots up for the 3-ball of his own from the wing. Nets by 12. And behind Kidd, they'd be on cruise control here in the second quarter with the rebound. Pushing it up court feeds Richard Jefferson for the jam. In the third, Kidd starts another break with a steal. Finds Martin, who makes the night fake pass. And makes with a finger roll part of his 21 points on the night. 109-96 Nets it's ended. They lead the series 1-0.
Played through a knee injury in a bid to avoid being tricked by the Magic, but he and his team could do nothing to stop Tracy McGrady, who blitzed the Pistons with a playoff career-high 43 points. That's a best for him and his franchise, and that is a great slam to put Orlando 12 points up. The All-Star Wallace is the league's leading rebounder, and he got 13 of them, that one setting up Richard Hamilton, who led the Pistons with 28. This one was all about the T-Mac. A couple of great scores coming up from him as he steered the 8th-seeded Magic to a 5-point win in Detroit's backyard. 99-94, the final score. Well, Allen Iverson stole most of the headlines on Easter Sunday. He scored 55 points for the Sixers as Philly beat New Orleans in the opening game of their series. You are watching some of the baskets from arguably the best performance in the franchise's proud history. It's certainly a team playoff record, and even he admitted to getting goosebumps as he wowed the home crowd and destroyed the opposition. He was just as hot in the second half, and in fact he made 20 points in the last quarter as the Sixers ran out winners by 98 points to 90. The LA Lakers are on course for a 4th consecutive title after beating Minnesota in Game 1 of their series. 39 points for Kobe Bryant here, and his teammate Shaquille O'Neal was equally hot. He grabbed 10 rebounds and shot 32 points as they breezed past the T-Wolves, 66-52 at the half. But Minnesota fought back after the break, a steal and an easy lay-in here for Troy Hudson, who landed 17 points on the night. And the gap at one stage was narrowed to 4, but the Lakers finished them off. This is Derek Fisher with a 3. And incidentally, Minnesota have never been past the opening round of the playoffs.
Able to set a fast tempo from the get-go, attaining an early lead. Peja Stojakovic on the break and scoring with a lay-in. Chris Webber would score on the post here, but that's bad news as he falls awkwardly and would have to leave the game with an ankle injury. The Kings would not miss him too much. Mike Bibby finding Vlade Divac. Divac had 15 points, 7 rebounds as the Kings dominated throughout. Stojakovic, a big reason for that. His 3-point shooting was immaculate. Had 29 points in the game as the Kings won by 13. To San Antonio, where the top-seeded Spurs aim to even up their series at 1 seed. Stephon Marbury coming off his game-winning shot in Game 1. Played well again, made his first 5 shots on his way to 32 points. Stephen Jackson was the main man for the Spurs. Gets the steal and then the dunk. There was no David Robinson for the San Antonio Spurs, but they were relying on Tim Duncan to get the points down low. Duncan with 22 points, 12 rebounds. Argentine rookie Emmanuel Ginobili also came up big. Finds Stephen Jackson on the back door. Stephen Jackson led the Spurs with 23 as they came out on top. The Pacers are also on level terms with the Celtics after a win in Indiana on Monday night. They got off to a quick start led by all-star forward Jermaine O'Neal. O'Neal with a huge dunk. More from Jermaine later. Gets the rebound, one of his 20 in the game, and then nets 2 of his 23 points. Reggie Miller may be at the end of his career, but he can still score when it matters. The veteran with 18 points, 6 assists, as the Pacers win at home. And working the clock, then stops, puts on a nice fake on Jermaine O'Neal, goes for the contact, throws up a prayer which is answered. Take another look at it. Bremner just heaving one up there, and it falls. The Celtics lost, but he gets the World Sports Play of the Day.
In a big way on Tuesday. Watch Anthony Peeler pick Shaquille O'Neal's pocket, dish off to Wally Szczerbiak at the other end. Szczerbiak had 21 points. The T-Wolves off and running. Time winding down in the opening half. Kevin Garnett to Tony Hudson. He nails the three, and Minnesota goes into the break by 14. They keep on firing in the second half. Garnett knocked down 35 of the night. Minnesota mauls the Lakers. The series is even and heading to L.A. on Thursday. In the Eastern Conference, Milwaukee went out to level their series with New Jersey at a game apiece. Jason Kidd goes inside. He misses, but teammate Kenyon Martin is there to clean up. This was a tight game throughout. Second half, Milwaukee's Sam Cassell drains the three. He had 21 of the nights. Bucks up by 3. Milwaukee would stay out in front. Tony Kukoc to Gary Payton for the lay-in. More of Payton. He had 22 on the evening. And the Bucks hang on to level this series at a win apiece.
Night for Kevin Garnett, who landed 35 points, a playoff career high for him, and that is a huge one-handed alley-oop slam. We've got it from every angle for you. The big ticket.
Far so good. On Wednesday, Dallas once again took it to Portland. Portland trying their best to swarm the Mavs on defense, but Dirk Nowitzki is able to nail the tough jumper. Dallas up by double digits early on. Big night for Portland's Bonzi Wells. A slam at one end. Then he hangs around the outside for a three-pointer. Wells with a career-best 45 points, but Dallas would be too tough. Behind the big German, Nowitzki, 25 points. Portland stumbles and drops their 9th straight NBA playoff game dating back to 2000. In the East, Detroit's Ben Wallace picked up the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year award before the Pistons tipped off Game 2 of their opening round showdown on Wednesday. Wallace tuned it up offensively with a 10-point, 16-rebound night. Tracy McGrady did his best to carry Orlando. The alley-oop reverse layup there. Then a tough three-pointer here. McGrady with 46 points, breaking the team playoff scoring record he set in the opening game of the series. But McGrady was up against a Pistons team that had 5 players in double figures, led by Richard Hamilton's 30. Detroit bounced back to level the series, leaving Orlando's shooting star wondering, where's the help?
I can't win it by myself, and I'm pretty sure they should understand that. But, you know, I give Detroit credit for really shutting those guys down and not letting everybody else, you know, get any easy buckets. They did a great job of you know, containing everybody else.
Our final NBA playoff stop takes us to Philadelphia, where Baron Davis sat out of the New Orleans second playoff encounter with the Sixers here in the opening round. Allen Iverson nearly turns the ball over, but Keith Van Horn is able to pick it up for the easy slam. More bad news for the Hornets on the injury front as Jamal Mashburn, look how much pain he is in. He dislocates and chips a bone in his right middle finger. We will see how his playoff run will end up. Iverson, 55 points in the opening game of the series, 29 on this night. Sixers are halfway home toward advancing toward the next round.
Come to a little R&R as the Nets' Rodney Rogers leaves it late in the NBA play. Well, Kobe Bryant had it going on early in the game, slipping underneath there for the reverse layup. Kobe had 30 points on the night. But the T-Wolves' Troy Hudson also came to play here with the long buzzer-beating 3. He had 27 points on the night. Timberwolves by 5 after one quarter. Shaquille O'Neal was unstoppable. What do you expect? 28 points, 17 rebounds. But to the third quarter, where Minnesota are in transition, Kevin Garnett hits the turnaround jumper, and down the stretch they upset the odds and brought home the win. Garnett with 33 points in a 114-110 overtime win for the Timberwolves, who lead the series 2-1. New Jersey Nets and Milwaukee Bucks were also tied at 1 heading into Game 3. Nets' Jason Kidd had it going early on, there with the free ball. And here, working his way towards a jumper off the glass. In fact, we're out of sync here. That was Gary Payton, 21 points on the night. Third quarter, Kenyon Martin drives in with a tough jumper and the foul, 23 points on the night. And the Nets would go on to win it 103-101. They lead the series 2-1. Staying in the Eastern Conference, where the Boston Celtics took a 2-1 lead in the series by blitzing Indiana Pacers. Antoine Walker draining the 3 there in the first. Celtics by 16. Into the third, Boston's Paul Pierce brings the ball up court. uses the quick screen from Eric Williams and drains the 3 ball. Celtics by 9. Here's Anton Walker for the Celtics again, working hard underneath, sinking the layup en route to a 101-83 Celtics win, and they lead the series 2-1. Finish runner-up in the voting to Amare Stoudemire of the Phoenix Suns. The 20-year-old is the first player to win the award after joining the world's top basketball league straight out of high school. It edged Yao in the journalists' poll by just 14 votes. Form with a career high as the Spurs sink the surging Suns in the NBA playoffs. One of the main reasons for the Mavs' success, and he continued in a similar vein. Here in transition, he throws down the slam. Here he is from distance now, Nowitzki, with the 3-pointer. And then steps in with the jumper, on his way to 42 points. Dallas by 3 at the half. Dirk got some help from LaFrentz later on. Here with the 3-pointer from the corner. He had 20 points in the game, and the Mavericks winning it 115-103. They lead the best-of-7 series 3-0. The Phoenix Suns' Amare Stoudemire received his NBA Rookie of the Year award ahead of the Game 3 against the San Antonio Spurs. Stoudemire showed why early on as he puts the nice move on the Spurs' Tim Duncan. Goes in for the slam. He'd have 17 points in the game. Duncan normally the Spurs' main man, but tonight he had help from his teammates. Tony Parker with the 3-ball there. And then the Frenchman hits the tough floater. Parker with a career-high 29 playoff points. Spurs had 5 players scoring double figures. Ginobili, one of them with 12. San Antonio winning 99-86. They lead the series 2-1. Tracy McGrady led an Orlando Magic team, hoping to go 2-1 up against the Detroit Pistons in the East. It was Detroit that jumped out early, though. Rip Hamilton with the tough jumper over 2 defenders. He'd have 22 on the night. The Magic came back. McGrady underneath knocks the ball ahead. Jacques Vaughn with the tough layup. Magic by 2 at the half. Third quarter, Orlando's Drew Gooden hits the tough leaner off the glass. Gooden with 15 points. McGrady would add the exclamation point, though, as he slams this one home. 29 points on the night. The Magic winning 89.
He did not want to get caught with their pants down for this crucial first-round game. If you're talking Jazz basketball, you know you're talking John Stockton to Karl Malone. Malone with 20 points of the night. Peja Stojakovic got free and hit the 3 over Calbert Chaney. Stojakovic had 19, but the Kings trailed by 4 at halftime, and the Jazz kept up the pressure in the second half. Look at the teamwork here. Matt Harpering, the dish to Chaney for the slam. Utah head coach Jerry Sloan was tossed out in the third period. He didn't see how his side won their first game of this series. Philadelphia and New Orleans met for Game 3 of their opening round series on the Hornets home court, and the hobbled Baron Davis pushed himself to the limit. Here with the layup, Davis paid 40 points, 10 more than expected. He played 40 minutes, 10 more than expected, and went up against the likes of Allen Iverson, who put down 28 points. But Davis would also have 28 on the night, and his side would come out on top. The Hornets come home and finally beat the Sixers, the pivotal 4th game of this intriguing series.
And the local fans always rowdy. The Celtics actually did not start off well and trailed by as many as 16 points. Ron Mercer scoring easily here. But just like he had done in Game 1, Paul Pierce came to the rescue despite having to face Ron Artest, a renowned defender. Boston's number 34 scored practically at will. A total of 37 points for him. Antoine Walker added 17 as the Celtics won by 10 and lead the series 3-1. 23 rebounds. He got started early, dominating down low. How about that for power? Take another look at it. It's a fantastic view from the floor cam as well. More Shaq, the emphatic jam, and gets the foul as well. The Lakers had an early lead. Troy Hudson, who had come up big in Minnesota, played well again. 28 points for him. Kevin Garnett also got into the mix. The drive and the huge jam, plus the foul. 28 for him as well. Minnesota led in the third period, but the Lakers would come back. Brian Shaw with a 3-pointer as the defending champions hold on to win their 2nd game of the series. The Portland Trail Blazers snapped a 10-game losing streak in the playoffs and made sure they were not going to be swept by Dallas with a victory on Sunday. Zach Randolph had a huge game for the Blazers, scoring 25 points. Portland used a 21-0 run in the third quarter to make sure they would stay alive in the series. Mark Cuban couldn't believe it, but his Mavericks still lead the series 3-1. And in Orlando, Tracy McGrady continued his scoring spree as the Magic moved within one victory of advancing to the second round. They struggled early as Detroit was quick out of the block. Defensive Player of the Year Ben Wallace showing he has some offense in him as well. The Pistons led by 10, but McGrady would lead the Magic back after the steal, goes the distance for the jam, and then more McGrady later fakes out Corliss Williamson and then gets the tough bucket and the foul. He had 27 points. Orlando lead the series 3.
The NBA, teammates for 18 years, in which time they've never missed the playoffs. And for a while it looked like they'd do the business again. Fast break there, Mark Jackson to Malone for the layup. 24 points for him. But in the third quarter, the Kings, and in particular Peja Stojakovic, took over. 15 of his 27 points came in that quarter as he helped Sacramento to a 17-point win and a 3-1 lead of the series. Stockton and Malone left to a standing ovation, and that's probably their last home game as teammates. At 41 years of age, Stockton could well retire, while Malone is a free agent and says who shot 22 points, his lowest of the series so far. Gifted here, though, the defender leaves him, and he hoists the three-pointer. Sixers up by 8. Baron Davis was the Hornets' biggest threat. He scored a career playoff high of 34 points. But Philly were too much for them. Iverson here saving the ball from out of bounds, and he goes coast to coast, just beating the third quarter buzzer. He only made 9 of 28 shots, though. Never mind, the Sox Sixers took this one by 9. Rick Fox, though, who's out for the season, but the rest of the team were in championship form, especially top scorer Kobe Bryant, who landed 32 points, including acrobatic baskets like that. The Lakers blew their opponents away to win by 30 and go 3-2 up in the series. A potentially decisive Game 6 will be in LA on Thursday. The Phoenix Suns have made a habit of clawing back big deficits in their series with San Antonio, but it wasn't to be here in Texas. Tim Duncan foiled twice, but Malik Rose took over with a big one-handed throwdown. Duncan got involved in the third quarter here, and that was key as the Suns began to rise again. He landed 23 points, but it was Rose who stole the show, coming off the bench to score 27 with 13 rebounds, 94-82 for the Spurs, who lead this series 3-2. Paul Pierce and the Celtics were hoping to eliminate the Pacers in Indiana on Tuesday. They've never lost a series. They led 3-1, but Ron Artest led Indiana back from a 10-point deficit with 26 of his own, and they were given a boost from the bench in Tim Hardaway. 13 points from him, and that 3 tied it up in the fourth. Boston still had a chance to finish the series, but Artest swatted away Pierce's shot. And so it went to overtime, where Boston made NBA playoff history by failing to score in the extra period. Jermaine O'Neal helping the Pacers to a 5-point win. Inside pass there to Richard Jefferson, who laid up for 2 of his 17 points. 16 rebounds too from him, but it was Kidd who ensured the New Jersey side took a 3-2 series lead. 19 points from him as the Nets won by 89-82.
Of the 18-year on-the-court partnership between John Stockton and Karl Malone in Utah. Sacramento jumped out to the early lead. Vlade Divac with the miss. The over-the-shoulder pass to Doug Christie, and the Kings are off and running. How many times have we seen this, and could we be seeing it one last time? Stockton to Malone. Jazz down by a dozen at the half, and they would continue in their hole in the second half. Chris Webber, 26 points for the home team. As the Kings take the series, they take a moment to reflect on the contributions made by Utah's all-star pair, who just may have played their last game due to Stockton's impending retirement. Scottie Pippen saw his first postseason action following knee surgery as Portland hoped to hold off Dallas and see another playoff day. Dirk Nowitzki put down 35 points for the Mavs after 46 minutes, 55 seconds of basketball. That three-pointer from Rasheed Wallace gave the Blazers their first lead of the game. And look at head coach Maurice Cheeks. 15 seconds left. Bonzi Wells misses the tough jumper, but Arvydas Sabonis is there for the tip-in. Blazers hold on to the game and in the series. Mavs, though, still 1 win away from moving on. With a broken finger, Mashburn got his points of the night. Game tied late. The crossover hits the jumper, and the Hornets have the lead. Just over a minute to play. Game tied. It's Mashburn again. He misses the tough shot, but former Sixer George Lintz is there for the easy putback. Closing seconds. Hornets hang on. Allen Iverson gives it to Keith Van Horn. He strips. Baron Davis is fouled. He hit both free throws, sealing the Hornets' series-saving victory on a night that their ailing star hit 21 points.
And the Hornets head back.
Detroit Pistons would beat back the stiff challenge from Orlando and continue their intriguing opening round playoff opener. Wallace helped his team lead by 13 at the half. Turkish native Mehmet Okur even got in on the act late. Baseline for the Jam. Despite the lopsided win, Detroit is still teetering on playoff elimination. On what should have been a tense Game 6. But in the third quarter, with the Lakers up by 10, O'Neal gets the rebound, gets it over to Kobe Bryant, who put down 2 of his 24 points. Fourth quarter, Lakers up by 12. Bryant with the alley-oop slam. Kobe actually had 31. Shaq had 24 as the Lakers get their wake-up call and win the opener in a rout. Next up for Los Angeles, a second-round clash with San Antonio on Thursday. The Spurs finally let loose of Phoenix. Tim Duncan contributing 15 points and 20 rebounds. Argentine native Emmanuel Ginobili knocked down a dozen as the top seed in the Western Conference survived the opening round at the expense of the Suns. Firing in this one from the very start. Already up by 20 in the first half. Pierce drives through the entire Pacers defense, part of a 27.8 rebound night. Third quarter, Celtics on cruise control. Antoine Walker buries the three-pointer. Lost a little celebration in the end as the Celtics win a lopsided affair, which teed off the volatile Ron Artest. After the game, he gets into a shoving match with none other than the Pacers director of player personnel. 2 words for you, Ron. Anger management. It was like kids play when New Jersey and Milwaukee collided in Game 6 of their first-round series on Thursday. Jason Kidd played provider here with the alley-oop pass to Kenyon Martin. Kidd, in fact, dished out 11 assists in helping Martin tally 29 points. The Nets beat back the Bucks and advanced to play Boston in round 2. I had her on World deciding game by a rejuvenated Portland Trail Blazers side. Rasheed Wallace finds Arvydas Sabonis, and here go the Blazers. They're off and running. Second quarter, Wallace hooks up with Bonzi Wells underneath for the slam. Wells would get called for a technical, but his team had run out to a 23-point lead. It did not matter, and then they were on cruise control in the second half. Ruben Patterson with the slam. Portland in total control here. Blazers seemingly getting contributions from everyone, including Zachary Randolph. He had 21 points. Portland a win away from stunning Dallas and moving into round 2. With a win, Detroit could force a 7th and deciding game against Orlando in the opening quarter. The Pistons' Chauncey Billups got hot. That's a three-pointer. Time winding down in the first period, and Billups buries another tray. Seconds left in the half. How about another? Billups ties a Pistons playoff record with 6 first-half three-pointers. Detroit by 9 at the break. Second half, Tracy McGrady does his part to pull Orlando back into the game. McGrady had 37 points on this night. Would it be enough? In a word, no. Pistons with a double-digit advantage. Billups does it again. Another 3. A game-high 40 points. Pistons win the game. They tie the series. Game 7 on Sunday. Philadelphia had to go down to the wire to have a chance at eliminating New Orleans from the opening round. Late fourth quarter, Hornets by 4. Jamal Mashburn drives in for the pull-up jumper, part of a 36-point night. Game now tied at 98. The Hornets' Baron Davis finds room for the three-pointer. He had 21. Hornets in control until Allen Iverson took over the game. Game tied at 101. Iverson goes underneath, gives it up, gets it back for the jumper. Then with the Sixers up by 2, he loses it momentarily before Iverson gets it back and hits another tough jumper, this time off the glass. Iverson, an all-star, 45 points. Sixers win the series 4 games to 2.